In this video, I'm going to show you how to completely transform your own sense of inner confidence and how you're showing up from the things that you think are negative to something that is attractive and charismatic. So if you feel awkward, if you feel like there's certain insecurities you want to unroot, this video is going to change your life and help you to become the most magnetic version of you. Now, the first thing to realize about this is that you get in life a reflection of who you are being. And if when you're showing up, you are feeling awkward, you are feeling not good enough, or you're feeling weird, or you're feeling like the lone wolf, based on how you feel, you are getting a reflection of that in your life. So, for example, if you feel like insecure about something, maybe like maybe a nose or a freckle or something like that, and you go out and you're feeling insecure about it, and you're feeling nervous about it, and you're hoping people don't notice your freckle, then what happens is that energy of saying, I don't accept this about myself, is being emanated out. People feel it, and they're responding to that energy. So the key to this is learning that people feel what you feel about you. So when it comes to being awkward, when it comes to being and feeling insecure about different characteristics, whether it be physical, personality-wise, the secret, and one of the biggest keys that will completely transform your life if you apply it, is to simply own it. To own the awkwardness. To own the weirdness. To own it and know there's not a problem. A lot of times what happens is we believe there's a problem. We believe there's something wrong with me. I'm a little bit awkward when I'm in certain public situations. And then we judge ourselves. And then guess what? Because we judge ourselves and because we don't feel like we're enough, we then project that onto people. And remember, people feel what you feel. So they're feeling that non-acceptance within yourself, and then they're going to reflect back that non-acceptance. So the key to this is, instead of looking to them to feel accepted, instead of looking for the mere reflection to change, the key is to change, because everything else on the outside is a mere reflection. And when you own it, and when you're not attached to whether they accept you or not, you'll find that a lot of people accept you and that respect you owning it, or you just being you. I remember many times in my life where I feel insecure about something, or I remember a long time ago especially, like when I'd go out, even sometimes now, like if I go out and there's big large groups of people that I'm hanging around, it's like I remember especially back in the day, I'd feel really nervous about going to a party, but I'd feel like I have to go to the party because otherwise, to like not let my friends down and stuff like that. But I remember that there was a lot of like anxiety that would bring up. And one thing I had to become aware of is, what is the story I'm telling myself about the situation that's causing that emotion? Because understand as well, what you believe to be true about yourself and the stories that you tell yourself generate the emotion and the feeling. So when we look at this, there's a couple different ways to look at you becoming the most magnetic version of you and turning awkwardness into charismatic, attractive energy. The first one is what I already mentioned. It's simply own it. There's so many times where you see somebody that maybe they feel insecure about their ethnicity, or they feel insecure about their accent, or they feel insecure about their height, or they feel insecure about many levels. Maybe they have a freckle, or they have some type of something that makes them a little bit different. And if you simply own it, you will find that other people will own it will see that you own it, and that will be attractive. So it doesn't have to be something that you reject within yourself, because if you reject it within yourself, the outer reflection in life you get will be that rejection as well. We'll reflect that back. Because remember, life is like a mirror. And you don't go to try to change the outer reflection in order to change the mirror. You know that you must change the expression on your face if you want to see a smile in the mirror. But you don't go over to the mirror and try to change that, right? And the same way, when it comes to awkwardness, when it comes to feeling insecure, or it comes to feeling like an introvert or something, if you were to own being an introvert, it would be a very different energy. If you were to accept being that about yourself, it'd be a very different energy, because people feel what you feel. There really is no problem here. The only problem is the resistance you feel about feeling awkward, about feeling like there's something off, or there's something that's this way that should be a different way. So one of the first ways is to simply own the awkwardness. To own it and know that as you own it, other people will own it too. I've seen this happen a lot with also people that are introverts, where they feel like I should be talking, I should be like engaging with everyone that's around me, and if I'm not, then I'm not being good enough. And it's like, no, then I've seen people that just own the fact that they're a little bit more quiet, and guess what? There's like a stillness, a presence with this person that's very magnetic. And then it's like it attracts based on that calm energy. And it's actually refreshing a lot of times. Sometimes I think we always need to be talking. We always need to be like sharing our stories from our lives, when actually listening is probably one of the most attractive traits someone can possibly have. So for this, realize that magnetic energy is unleashed from the inside out when you start owning who you are and you start accepting who you are. And then the other side of this as well is understanding the power of that called presence, being in your own body. Now, sometimes what happens is when we are, so this gets back to also a childhood wound of the abandonment wound. And if you heal this, I promise you will be so much more magnetic. One of the most common wounds that we might have when it comes to social interaction is being afraid to be abandoned. Because back in the day, maybe mom or dad emotionally or physically had that abandoned energy where they weren't present, and then we decided it's not safe for me to be me. It's not safe for me to express the real me. I must tune to my environment to get safety. I must make sure you're happy. I must make sure you're happy. And then we lose our sense of self to make everybody else happy. And then we're not really in our own body. One of the philosophies I have around this is that what empaths do, people that can feel other people's energies, is that was a survival mechanism that was created back in the past to get your own needs met. It says it's not safe for me to be in my bottom 3 chakras. I'm going to tune to my third eye so I can connect to everybody else, know what everyone else is thinking and feeling, so that I can make them happy. And if I make them happy, then I can feel safe. And the game changer for me was understanding that that was just a survival mechanism that I was using in order to get my needs met. And what I eventually had to start doing is realizing that that also was, I was trying to get my needs met of validation and approval. But then that would have me depolarizing my relationships, that have me not being the real me. And it would actually be very unattractive energy, because also neediness is born from that energy of the abandonment wound many times. Neediness says, I want you to meet my needs. Meet my needs, please. And neediness is a yearning, a wanting for that. And as the Buddha said, neediness and desire is the root of all suffering. Actually said attachment and desire is the root of all suffering. But part of attachment many times is what creates the neediness. And if you're attached to what other people think and feel, that is unattractive energy. But if you realize that what's more important is you bring your energy back, and instead of focusing on getting validation and approval, you focus on being vulnerable and expressing the real you, you will have way more magnetic energy. That's what I did. I went through a transformation of this. And I showed up completely different in the world once I started actually applying this. And I started showing up in this way. So what you want to do is you want to be, and then, so when we're talking about the present energy, what empaths do is they tune to their third eye, they tune to everyone else, and they're not actually in their bodies. And I'll tell you what, when you are in your body and you bring the awareness in your hands and your feet, you will feel so much more magnetic. And that magnetic energy is because you are more present. You are more grounded. And it's something that people can feel off. Literally more of your life energy is inside of your body, and it's emanating out. And remember this, the electromagnetic energy of the heart is thousands of times more powerful than the head. So simply bringing the energy into your heart, into your hands, and in your feet is increasing the electromagnetic energy inside of your heart. And one of the most powerful techniques I found for this, you've probably heard me talk about before, is that of the frame technique, where you put your hands, you put the attention in your hands and your feet, you feel the separation between you and the walls, you and your computer, you and other people. Even bring someone to mind and imagine you taking your energy back and feeling the separation between them. Yes, you're still connected and everything. I know we're all spiritual beings, all connected, having the dream of separation. But a lot of times as empaths and people that are like on the spiritual path, we forget that. We forget that we're also individual beings, and we've forgotten what it's like to feel safe in our own body. So one of the most powerful ways for you to also own your own awkwardness is to realize that part of the judgment you have is what is putting out that energy of resistance. So if you soothe that, you become more accepting of it, you could then realize that part of the survival mechanism as a kid was abandoning yourself to then make everybody else happy so you get your needs met. But the key is to actually realize that in order to abandon yourself to make everyone else happy, you are in that abandonment wound, you've abandoned yourself. And the key is bringing your energy back and to stop abandoning yourself to make everybody else happy. And when you stop abandoning yourself, you start being the real you. You start showing up in reality in a very different way. And you have very magnetic energy. Realize it's okay to be polarizing. It's okay to express yourself authentically. If other people don't like it, that's their stuff to deal with, not yours. But the challenge has been with the abandonment wound is you feel connected to everybody and you want to make everybody else happy, so you feel like their problems are your problems. If somebody else doesn't accept your awkwardness, which is really an internal judgment of awkwardness, it's only awkwardness if you agree that it's awkwardness. To you, it's just you. It could just be you being you. Doesn't have to have a label. Doesn't have to label that energy as awkwardness. But also realize this as well, that as you stop abandoning yourself, you will be more magnetic. As you bring the energy back into your body, you will be more magnetic. But also, if you want to really shed the identity of the awkwardness, let's also look at the keys to transformation. Now, this is the chart that I've shared in a lot of my videos. It is the key to really creating whatever you want in your life, whether it's love, loving relationship, whether it's abundance, living your life purpose, whatever it is. Realize that most of us are living in the old self, this old identity, and our life is what we are getting in our life is in direct alignment to how we think, feel, and act. And that part of this that keeps us trapped in our old identity is the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. It's the addictive, familiar emotions that we familiarize since we're being a kid, so anger, guilt, fear, shame. And what ends up happening is these are familiarized, so therefore we are thinking, feeling, and acting equal to this identity. And once we become aware of this old identity, become familiar with it, which is what you could do in meditation, observe your thoughts, observe your feelings, observe your actions, you can then start to become more aware and then make transformation. Now, one of the things that might be a part of this think, feel, act thing is you've labeled yourself as awkward. You believe you're awkward. You believe I'm a weird introvert or something like that. That belief, you will do everything you can to remain consistent to how you define yourself. That's one of the things that happens in our reality. We want to remain consistent to how we define ourselves. If we define ourselves as awkward, then we will think, feel, and act equal to that awkward energy. Because it's a self-limiting judgment. But the key to this is becoming aware of that identity. And maybe even like you got that identity when you were a kid. Somebody told you, hey, you're being weird. You're awkward. Why are you so awkward? Ha ha ha, you're so awkward. And then we agreed and we internalized it and said, oh, I'm awkward. I am this identity of awkward. Then we're thinking, feeling, and acting equal to that identity of being awkward. But what you're realizing now is you can become aware of this and become aware of the label, and that you can let it go. We don't need the label of being awkward, shy, introverted. We don't need to attach ourselves to those labels. Become aware of them, own them, but you don't have to keep hanging on to them and attach to them if you don't want to. Then the key is getting into the unknown. The unknown, there's this new version of you, the version of you that's magnetic, non-attached, not attached. This version of you, when you are in this new energy, you can download the energy of this using the power of meditation and taking new action. These are the bridges to this new reality, is realizing you get in life who you're being. You think, feel, and act equal to your identity and the familiar emotions that you have from the past. Meditation is a way of becoming familiar with a new version of you. And that's how you can then influence your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind runs 95% of your life or more. And the way you influence your subconscious mind is when you're in what is called a theta state. Theta state happens when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, you're drifting out of sleep and you're drifting in between those deep levels of subconscious mind influence that you can have. And also in meditation. In meditation, you can influence the subconscious mind. And what you can do is you can feel as this version of you. You can have the self-image as this version of you. You can take on the values and identity, the behaviors, the habits, and feel the gratitude that that's who you are now. You will then begin tuning to this version of you. Meditation is one bridge. The other bridge is making a new choice about who you are and making the choice to step into the unknown, because in the unknown is where all magic happens. So when you go out into public, which normally it's like, this isn't the known. I'm out in public when around a whole bunch of other people. I'm in the unknown. But if you can take action as that version of you, you can use that as a permission slip to why you're in this new you. You can use this as a permission slip to get into the unknown, to create new probabilities and synchronicities, because you can't create a new reality from the known, because you've got the same autopilot mind, the same familiar emotions, actions, thoughts, feelings. So the key is making a choice to branch into the new. So the awkwardness, part of the awkwardness, there's an attachment to the identity because there's also a payoff that comes from being awkward. The payoff is if I identify myself as awkward, I'm not going to take as much action. I am going to be able to stay safe in this little bubble that I've created. It explains why people have never got me in the past. So there's a payoff to being right there. The key is becoming aware of these payoffs and then making a new choice about who you are. And when you change your story, you change your life. When you change the way you see yourself, you change your life. The key to this is changing and becoming aware of your energy and going through an identity shift process of transformation. And if you haven't heard yet, I have a free video that'll show you exactly step by step how to go through what is called the MAP. The magnetic activation process of becoming the most magnetic version of you without falling back into the old patterns. It includes the power of using meditation and new action in order to really wire it in a very easy way to unleash non-attached magnetic energy. It has to do with also getting to the core of the own inner child wounding, to let go of the abandonment wound, to let go so you can feel safe inside of your own body. If you want to check that out, you can go to aarondowdy.com/MAP. aarondowdy.com/map, or click the link in the description box below. And then also, if you want to learn the 3 secrets and the 3 things that really kill attraction and how you can use that to transform it so that you can really create the most magnetic energy from the inside out, check this video out right here. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 biggest mistakes that I see people make that actually kills attraction. I'm going to show you how you can revert this energy, actually become more magnetic, and stop doing what actually isn't working. Now, the interesting